Nobody expected a baby shower to turn into a battlefield. But when whispers started flying about what really went down at Shakira's event, it didn't take long before the drama exploded. Now, all eyes are on Karlie and Yandy Smith as rumors swirl that a full-blown clash erupted after private details from the party leaked online. And we're not talking about cute centerpieces or gender reveals. We're talking secrets, side eyes, and a tension that allegedly went from soft shade to screaming behind closed doors. According to insiders, things got ugly fast. Yandy was blindsided by what she calls intentional sabotage, while Karlie's camp insists Yandy brought it on herself. And the craziest part? The source of the leak might have come from someone inside their circle. Fans are already choosing sides, and social media is in meltdown mode, trying to figure out who said what, and why Shakira's baby shower turned into one of the messiest moments of the season. From accusations of jealousy to claims that someone was using the event to push their own storyline, the tension is out in the open now. And it's personal. What really happened behind the scenes? Who's lying? Who's deflecting? And who's finally telling the truth? Grab your tea, because this isn't just drama, it's war. And it's only just begun. Shakira's baby shower was supposed to be a calm, celebratory moment. Pastel balloons, soft music, family and friends gathered around her with warm smiles and gift bags. Everything looked picture perfect on the outside. But behind those matching tablecloths and floral arches, something dark was bubbling. Whispers, glances, low-toned conversations near the catering table. And by the end of the night, those whispers weren't whispers anymore. They were full-blown accusations. And somehow, someway, the names at the center of it all were Yandy and Karlie. No one knows exactly how it started. Some say it was a comment about seating. Others believe it began earlier that week, when a certain blog posted an anonymous tip about drama brewing between the two women. The post was vague, just enough to stir interest, but specific enough to light a fuse. And when the baby shower photos started going up online, things got worse. One of the images had a very clear shot of Karlie and Yandy mid-argument. Eyes tight, mouths frozen mid-sentence, tension practically radiating through the pixels. That image made its way to every gossip page within hours. Yandy hadn't even made it home before her phone started blowing up. Texts from friends, DMs from fans, comments on her posts asking what happened between her and Karlie. And the worst part? She didn't even know how to answer. Because she hadn't said anything publicly. She didn't even know the picture existed until she was tagged in it. The caption on one page read, "Looks like someone brought more than gifts to Shakira's baby shower," with laughing emojis. And that's when it hit her. Someone wanted this out. Someone wanted to stir the pot. And Yandy knew exactly who that someone might be. She tried to stay calm at first. She called a couple people who were at the party. One of them confirmed there was a conversation between her and Karlie, but didn't realize how serious it looked. Another friend said they saw Karlie on her phone a lot that night, stepping out more than once. And then came the final blow. A voice note was leaked. It wasn't crystal clear, but it was enough. Yandy's voice, clearly frustrated, saying something about fake smiles and "don't play in my face." Within minutes, blogs were pairing the audio with the photo. And suddenly, it wasn't a private disagreement anymore. It was an alleged feud. And fans were eating it up. Meanwhile, Karlie had yet to speak. She didn't deny anything, didn't confirm it either. Just posted a cute picture with Shakira and the caption, "A beautiful day surrounded by love." But people noticed the comments. Under the post were getting deleted. Especially the ones asking about the photo with Yandy. That's when the pressure started building. Yandy felt like she was being painted as the problem. Again. And this time, she wasn't going to stay silent. She put up a story the next day. No direct names, no accusations. Just a caption that read, "I don't throw shade, I bring light. Don't mistake my silence for weakness." Simple, classy, but powerful. And of course, fans instantly connected it to the drama. The comments started pouring in again. Some defended her, some dragged her. But everyone was watching. By the third day, things were spiraling. A second photo was leaked. This one looked even worse. Karlie's face was turned, her mouth open like she was in mid-yell. Yandy's arms were crossed, expression hard. The background showed a few guests clearly looking in their direction, and just like that, the narrative shifted. Now people weren't just wondering if something happened, they were convinced, and the theories got louder. Some claimed Karlie was upset because Yandy made a shady comment during her toast. Others said Yandy felt disrespected by how Karlie introduced her at the event. A few even said the two had been on bad terms since the reunion taping months ago, and this was just the explosion waiting to happen. But none of that compared to what came next. A close friend of Shakira, who had tagged herself at the baby shower, went live. She didn't name names, but the implications were clear. She said something went down, something that wasn't supposed to happen, that two women were acting like they were at a reunion, not a baby shower, and that Shakira was left, feeling embarrassed in front of family members who weren't used to TV energy. It was subtle, but the internet isn't stupid. The comment section blew up with guesses, and Yandy and Karlie's names were at the top of every list. By now, Yandy was livid. Not just because of the leaks, but because people were now dragging her parenting, her reputation, her entire character, all over something she wasn't even sure how it got started. And when she tried to get answers, the only person who seemed completely calm in the chaos was Karlie. The same Karlie who hadn't said a single word about it publicly, but was still posting flawless selfies and captions about peace and elevation. Yandy finally had enough. She posted a video. Nothing dramatic. Just her sitting in her car, no makeup, no filter. She said, "Some people like to play the victim when they're the ones holding the knife. I'm not here to argue. I'm here to protect my peace. But don't get it twisted. I'm not the one." That clip went viral in less than an hour, and it didn't take long for people to draw the lines. Team Yandy, Team Karlie, and a storm that started at a baby shower had now turned into a full-blown internet war. Shakira, caught in the middle, tried to shut it down. She posted a message asking for people to stop using her baby shower as a backdrop for drama. But it was too late. The story had grown legs. The internet had already turned it into a spectacle. And behind the scenes, producers were already planning how to use it on the show. Because as sad as it was, the drama had become content. And now, the only question was who was going to come out of it clean, and who was going to get dragged all the way through. The producers knew they had something explosive on their hands. Not fabricated drama, not a scene built from editing tricks, but actual tension that had already spilled out into the real world. And that kind of story, that was ratings gold. While the internet argued about who leaked what and whether the baby shower moment was staged, behind the scenes, phones were ringing, meetings were happening, and people were being asked one question: can we get Yandy and Karlie in the same room? Yandy was hesitant. More than hesitant, honestly. She was flat out done. To her, this wasn't a petty misunderstanding that could be fixed with a quick sit-down and a couple of fake smiles. This was character assassination, happening in real time, and Karlie was letting it ride. But the show doesn't stop just because things get uncomfortable. Producers pitched it as a clearing the air moment, an opportunity for two grown women to talk like adults. But Yandy knew better. This wasn't about resolution. This was about content. Still, part of her wanted to say something face to face. Because if she didn't, she'd be leaving the whole world to fill in the blanks. And Karlie showed up 20 minutes later, dressed head to toe like she'd just stepped off a magazine shoot. Flawless makeup, heels, the whole look. She smiled politely at the crew, waved to a few producers, then walked straight to the table like she didn't feel the weight of everything hovering around her. When she sat down, she looked at Yandy and gave a small smile. Yandy didn't return it. "So we're doing this now?" Yandy asked. Karlie crossed her legs and said, "You're the one who posted the video, babe. I figured you had something to say." "Don't do that," Yandy said, her tone sharp. "Don't make this about a video. You know exactly why we're here." Karlie tilted her head. "Do I? Because all I saw was you turning a sweet baby shower into your own drama special." Yandy leaned forward. "The only drama came from your side. Someone from your team leaked that photo, that audio. You knew what you were doing." Karlie raised an eyebrow. "You think I need to leak anything? People talk. Cameras flash. We were in public. But only one of us had our people posting behind-the-scenes content before the event even ended," Yandy shot back. "Only one of us stayed silent while I got dragged." Karlie shrugged. "I don't owe anyone an explanation, and neither do you." Yandy's voice cracked, not from weakness, but from holding in too much. You owe me one, as a woman, as someone who called me a sister. Karlie's face didn't move. Then maybe you shouldn't have been whispering about me at the party. And there it was. A line that changed everything. Yandy blinked. Excuse me? You think I didn't hear? Karlie said, her tone cool but cutting. You and your little side conversations, talking about how I always need a moment and how I can't stand not being the center of attention. Yandy laughed. Not a real laugh, but the kind that comes when disbelief mixes with rage. So that's what this is about? You heard something and decided to start a whole war over it? I didn't start anything, Karlie replied. You did. With your tone, with your energy, with your little comments during the toast. Yandy shook her head. That toast was about Shakira, not you. But leave it to you to find a way to make it about yourself. And just like that, the air thickened. Both women sat back in their chairs, the tension rolling off them like heat waves. The cameras didn't cut. The crew didn't flinch. This was what they came for, but even they weren't expecting the emotional gut punch that came next. Yandy's voice softened. I showed up for that girl's shower out of love. I left humiliated, dragged all over the internet. People questioning my integrity, my loyalty, my womanhood. And you? You didn't say a word. You watched it happen. Karlie's expression flickered just for a second. I didn't know it would blow up like that. You didn't care, Yandy said. And that's worse. There was silence again. Not the dramatic kind, but the quiet that comes when people realize they've hit something deeper than pettiness. Yandy wiped her hands over her jeans, grounding herself. I came here today because I wanted to believe that maybe this wasn't all on purpose, that maybe there was a misunderstanding. But now I see you're more concerned with looking innocent than being real. Karlie didn't respond right away. She just looked at her, really looked, and then said, I'm not the villain in your story, but maybe I stopped trying to be your friend when I realized you only needed me when cameras were rolling. Yandy froze. Not because she was shocked, but because that cut close. Too close. So that's what this is about? She asked, eyes narrowing. You think I used you? I think we both used each other, Karlie said, but at least I'm honest about it. Yandy stood up slowly, not with anger, but with decision. Thanks for the clarity. Karlie stayed seated, lips tight, jaw clenched. We done? Yandy looked down at her. I've been done. And then she walked away. Not fast, not dramatic, just done. The crew didn't say anything. The producers didn't move, because what they had just witnessed wasn't staged. It wasn't written. It was two women peeling back years of surface-level friendship and realizing there was nothing left underneath. Karlie sat alone for a while after that. She pulled out her phone, opened Instagram, and stared at her feed. So many likes, so many comments. But for the first time in a long time, none of it felt like enough. And across the lot, Yandy sat in her car again, alone, quiet, breathing. Not because she had won, but because for once, she didn't have to prove anything. She said her truth, and that was more than enough. The aftermath was nothing short of chaos. The moment Yandy walked away from that sit-down, it was like a second wave hit the internet. Blogs had the footage before the network even reviewed it. Clips were being shared, dissected, subtweeted, stitched, and thrown across timelines like digital grenades. People picked apart every expression, every pause, every tight-lipped response between the two. One fan tweeted, Yandy didn't just walk away. She walked out of a fake friendship built on followers and filtered captions. Another wrote, Karlie sat there looking pretty, but Yandy looked like she was carrying the weight of truth. And while fans were choosing sides like it was a courtroom trial, both women were back in their own worlds, processing in completely different ways. Karlie, true to form, posted a photo the next morning with the caption, "You can't lose when you mind your business." And just like that, she doubled down. No mention of Yandy, no reflection, just a veiled message wrapped in aesthetic energy. But to Yandy, it was loud and clear. She saw it. and it only confirmed what she felt walking away. That conversation was never going to be honest, because you can't get closure from someone who still believes they're the victim. Yandy stayed quiet for 2 full days. No tweets, no stories, not even a like. And that silence spoke louder than any post. People started flooding her comments with support. Messages like, "You did what needed to be done," and "You're too real for fake people." But behind that silence, Yandy was hurting. Not because of Karlie, not even because of the internet noise, but because she had finally admitted to herself that she had been pouring into someone who was never pouring back. That's a hard truth to swallow, especially when you've spent years defending someone you never really knew. Producers reached out again. This time, not for a confrontation, but for a confessional. They wanted Yandy to speak her piece, solo. Just a chair, a mic, and her voice. She agreed, not because she needed to control the narrative, but because she was tired of others doing it for her. When the cameras rolled, she didn't waste time. She sat down, adjusted her hoodie, looked straight ahead and said, "Some people are mad that I didn't let them play the victim, but I'm done apologizing for making people uncomfortable with the truth." She talked about loyalty, about showing up for people who wouldn't do the same, about how women are expected to fix everything, friendships, relationships, reputations, and when they decide to walk away, they get labeled bitter or dramatic. She didn't name Karlie once, didn't have to. The emotion said everything. Meanwhile, the rest of the cast was trying to navigate the fallout. Some were shocked, others not so much. Rashida admitted she saw it coming. She told Bambi in a private convo that the tension between Yandy and Karlie had been building for months, but no one wanted to say anything. "It's like watching a glass crack," she said. "You know it's gonna break. You just don't know when." Bambi agreed, saying, "Karlie been moving funny, like she wants peace but always got a spark in her back pocket just in case." Even Shakira, the woman whose baby shower was now a viral disaster, finally broke her silence. She did a short video on her page, visibly emotional, where she said, "I didn't ask for this. I just wanted to celebrate a new chapter. And now it feels like people used my moment to air out their own mess." The video hit a nerve. Comments were split. Some said she was right. Others blamed her for inviting 2 women she knew had tension. But Shakira stayed firm. She ended the video by saying, "I love them both, but right now I need space from both sides." Karlie took that personally. She unfollowed Shakira the same day, and fans caught it instantly. That sparked a whole new wave of drama. People started questioning Karlie's motives. Manipulator hiding behind glam and shade. Yandy never responded to the leak. She didn't repost it. She didn't comment. She stayed silent. But that silence had weight. Because by now, fans understood what that silence meant. It meant she didn't need to argue. The truth was doing the talking. Days passed, then a week. And for a moment, things started to cool down. People assumed the storm had passed. But that's the thing about unresolved emotions. They don't go away. They wait. And when the cast gathered again for a group event, the tension walked in before either woman did. They were both invited to a pop-up charity event hosted by Sierra. Something light. Cameras were rolling, but it wasn't meant to be dramatic. Just good vibes. Yandy showed up early, greeted everyone with grace, but made it clear. She wasn't here for fake energy. She stayed on her side, posted up with Rashida, and Spice laughing, sipping her drink, minding her own. Karlie came later, late enough that people already had eyes on the entrance. She walked in like she didn't feel the whispers, smiled, waved, hugged the right people, then locked eyes with Yandy. Neither of them moved, neither of them spoke. And that silence was louder than anything they'd said in weeks. Sierra, trying to keep things peaceful, pulled them aside separately. She told Yandy, "I love both of y'all. I just want this night to be clean." Yandy nodded. "I hear you, but don't ask me to fake something that isn't there." Sierra nodded. She got it. Then she went to Karlie. "Sis, please, no shade tonight." Karlie smiled. "I came to support, not to swing." But even as she said it, her tone had a sharpness that Sierra didn't miss. As the night went on, Cameras, captured glances, short moments. Two women in the same space, breathing the same air, with miles of silence between them. And the audience watching from home, they felt every ounce of it. Because this wasn't petty. This wasn't manufactured. This was two people who once called each other friends, now looking like strangers. And the scariest part? Neither of them looked like they wanted to fix it. Not anymore. Not after everything. Not after the leaks, the silence, the shade, the passive posts, and the broken trust. What started as a disagreement at a baby shower had become a full-blown fracture. And with the season rolling on, producers knew they hadn't seen the last of it. Because when emotions run this deep, closure isn't found in one conversation. It's found in time. And sometimes even that isn't enough. Especially when both sides believe they were the one left betrayed. The next few days after the charity event felt like the calm after a hurricane. On the surface, things appeared to be settling. No more viral clips, no messy captions, no leaked voice notes. But under the surface, people were still talking. In salons, on blogs, in the comments under every post either woman made. The silence had stopped being peaceful. It had started to feel like anticipation. Everyone was waiting for the next move. Yandy stayed focused. She poured herself into family, into business, into staying grounded. Her circle tightened. She started saying no more often. No to interviews, no to casual hangouts. No to producers asking if she'd be open to another on-camera resolution. She wasn't interested in optics. She was interested in protecting her peace. But even with all that, she knew something had shifted. Not just in the show or with Karlie, but inside her. Because when trust is broken, it changes how you move, how you speak, how you let people back in. Karlie, on the other hand, did what Karlie always does. She kept it pushing. Photo shoots, appearances, cryptic tweets, nothing messy, enough to drag her directly into controversy, but just shady enough to keep people talking. It was clear she wasn't trying to clear her name, she was trying to spin the narrative. And in some circles, it was working. Some fans were saying Yandy took things too personally, others felt Karlie had been calculated, but one thing everyone agreed on, something was definitely off. The energy was different, the tension hadn't dissolved. It had just gone quiet. Then came the reunion taping. Producers had tried everything to keep things controlled. They set up the schedule so Yandy and Karlie wouldn't be in the same green room. Separate entrances, different prep times. But as always, the drama didn't wait for permission. Backstage whispers started early. One of the makeup artists overheard Karlie say she was ready to address the rumors. A production assistant saw Yandy pacing in her dressing room, eyes locked on her phone like she was reading every headline that brought her name into the chaos. And then came the twist nobody expected. The one person who hadn't said a single public word during the entire drama finally broke her silence. Shakira. A leaked clip from her own confessional made it online the night before the reunion. In it, she admitted that she had been warned, before the baby shower, that someone from production told her not to invite both women, that there was tension, unspoken beef, and a risk of things going left. But she ignored it, because she believed they were grown, because she thought she could keep things light, because she assumed the cameras wouldn't catch what they weren't filming. She admitted she felt guilty for underestimating the situation, but she also made one thing very clear. She believed Karlie had played a bigger role in stirring things up than she let on. That changed everything. Within hours, blogs were reposting the clip. Headlines screamed things like Shakira sides with Yandy and proof that Karlie started the baby shower chaos. And by the time everyone showed up to the reunion, the room was electric. Even those not involved could feel the temperature rise. When Yandy arrived on set, she was quiet but composed. Dressed in a sleek black outfit, minimal glam, no entourage. Just presence. The kind that commands without shouting. Karlie came in later, looking flawless as always. But the confidence she usually wore like armor felt slightly cracked. She smiled, she posed, but her eyes kept darting around the room like she was bracing for impact. And impact came quick. Midway through the reunion, the host brought up the baby shower incident. The audience leaned forward. The cast stiffened. The camera zoomed in. And just like that, the topic was live. Karlie spoke first. "I didn't go to that baby shower looking for drama. I went to support my friend. What happened wasn't planned. It was unfortunate. But I'm not going to let people rewrite the story." Yandy didn't flinch. She let her finish, then took the mic. "I'm not here to argue. I'm here to be honest. I showed up to that event with love in my heart. And I left with people questioning who I am. Not because I did anything, but because someone decided silence was easier than standing up for what's right." The room got quiet. The host leaned in. "Are you saying someone leaked that footage on purpose?" Yandy looked directly at Karlie. "I'm saying someone let me take the fall. And they watched it happen. More than once." Karlie shook her head, laughing softly. "You always want to play the hero, Yandy. But maybe you're not as innocent as you think." Yandy didn't even blink. "And maybe you're not as harmless as you pretend to be." That line echoed. It wasn't loud, but it hit like thunder. Because for months, people had been asking that same question in different ways. Was Karlie really just caught in the crossfire? Or was she the one pulling the strings? The host tried to mediate. "It seems like there's a lot of pain here. Is there any part of you two that wants to make peace?" Both women went silent. Then Yandy said, "I don't need peace with everyone, just with myself." And Karlie responded, "Same here." No hugs, no fake forgiveness, no forced closure, just truth. The reunion moved on. The cast shifted topics. The drama rolled forward. But everyone knew. That moment between Yandy and Karlie, that was the real headline. Because it wasn't just about a baby shower anymore. It was about accountability. It was about boundaries. It was about what happens when years of quiet resentment finally find a mic. When the episode aired weeks later, it broke viewership records. Not because of fights or stunts, but because people saw something real, something raw, and something unresolved. Fans flooded the comments. Some begged for reconciliation. Others praised the maturity. A few just sat in silence watching two women reflect everything they'd been through. Not just with each other, but in front of a world that constantly expects them to perform. And somewhere in the middle of all that noise, both Yandy and Karlie were just trying to breathe, trying to rebuild, trying to figure out what it meant to walk away without looking back. Because at the end of the day, the cameras turn off, the tweets die down, and all that's left is the truth and both of them, they were finally choosing to live in it, even if that meant living apart. So now that everything's been laid out, the side eyes, the silence, the accusations, and the fallout, where does it all leave us? Two women who once called each other family now sit on opposite sides of a very public, very emotional divide. And for many fans watching, it's not just about Yandy and Karlie anymore. It's about what happens when real-life hurt gets entangled in reality TV. Lights. When loyalty gets tested and the cameras just keep rolling. What started as whispers at a baby shower became a full-blown fracture. Not just of friendship, but of trust. And while both women may have walked away saying they're at peace, it's clear there's still a lot unsaid. Is Karlie really unbothered, or is her silence just a shield? Is Yandy done speaking, or is she just protecting what's left of her energy? One thing's for sure. This season has given us moments we didn't see coming. And if we've learned anything, it's that even the most glamorous friendships can hide the deepest cracks. So now we want to hear from you. Whose side are you on? Do you think Karlie was stirring the pot or just caught in the storm? Was Yandy right to confront her, or should she have let it go? Drop your thoughts in the comments because this one's far from over. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next chapter in this wild ride. Because if this season's taught us anything, it's that nothing stays buried for long, and no secret stays safe forever. Stay tuned, stay messy, and stay watching. See y'all next time.